Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm your digital host, Tatyana White, and welcome back to another episode of the 48 Recap, the one stop shop to catch up on some of the top news stories of the week, including new details in a Montana plane crash that killed a Huntsville family. A Huntsville murder suspect posted bond. A Hartselle teen who has been hospitalized for months after a fatal car crash is now home. An exclusive interview with the new Priceville police chief. A community is also coming together to support a Decatur firefighter's 12-year-old daughter who's fighting a rare and aggressive form of cancer, and so much more. And so I hope you all are having a wonderful weekend so far. I hope you all have some fun plans coming up for Thanksgiving. I tried to wear some warm, cozy Thanksgiving kind of colors, the brown and the green type of thing. I don't know, it gave me Thanksgiving vibes. Um, but yeah, and so I hope you all are excited and hopefully going to spend time with some family or friends and have good food and a good meal. So I want to wish you all a happy early Thanksgiving since next week will be Thanksgiving. So, but let's get into this weekend's recap. So, a lot of our top stories this week were 48 news updates. We got a lot of updates on various stories we've covered. And so, we'll start with the story that we had about a month ago that happened over a weekend in October, which was the plane crash that happened in Montana that killed a Huntsville family. And so, the NTSB, their preliminary report came out yesterday, and it came out about that deadly crash involving those three members of a Huntsville family. And it gives us a bit more information about what Mark Anderson faced as a pilot that day. And so, pilot Mark Anderson and his two daughters were killed when their twin engine plane went down in Montana. And the report reveals that Anderson was about 30 minutes from landing when he radioed air traffic control expressing concerns about icing. And when he reported that, he was saying that he was unable to maintain altitude due to the ice, and there was an issue with his left engine. And then Anderson, he declared an emergency, and then air traffic control lost radar contact. And the crash site was located the next day in the Bob Marshall Wilderness in the Montana area. And so again, this is just a preliminary report, and a final report will come later. And we will, of course, keep you all updated here at WAFF when that final report becomes available. And to a story that we covered last weekend where a fatal shooting took place here in Huntsville, and the suspect involved in that shooting, she killed a man in that shooting, and now she's out on bond. And so Shakira Hampton, she bonded out of jail just before 5 o'clock Thursday evening. Hampton is accused of shooting and killing Michael Darden last weekend, and investigators said that the two recently had broke up, and they believe that Hampton tracked down Darden to a church parking lot, and that's when a witness says they saw the two arguing before hearing gunshots. And then Darden was taken to the hospital where he later died from his injuries. And Hampton, she appeared in court Thursday afternoon for her bond hearing, which was set at $20,000. And a few hours later, bond was posted and she was released from the Madison County Jail. And this comes after Darden's family was at that bond hearing, and prosecuting attorney Emily Carroll said that Hampton is a danger to the community and that Darden didn't deserve to be killed.
Been building. And for that reason, I'm very concerned about her behavior, her lack of concern for the safety of other people, and just the fact that she was so persistent. I don't know what would protect people from that sort of behavior. The family in this case is devastated. They've lost a son, a brother, a nephew, someone that was very important to them, and someone that we all agree was not deserving of this sort of behavior.
So we will keep you all updated here at WAFF as we continue to follow this case. And we also have another 48 News update from this week. And so a Hartselle teen, he finally made it home from the hospital weeks after he suffered major injuries from a crash involving a man trying to escape Priceville police officers. And so that young man, his name is Gavin Prater, and along with his brother and two of his friends, they were in an SUV that was hit by a man fleeing from Priceville police. A few weekends ago, this happened early September. And so Priceville police, they initiated a chase on I-65, and within 60 seconds, the chase was off the interstate and on Main Street in Hartsville. And then that chase ended in a violent crash at Main Street and Highway 31. And the man being chased, he crashed into the car with Gavin and his brother and his friends in it, killing Tristan Hollis in that crash. And so Gavin's family, the Prater's family attorney, Will League, said that in the wreck, Gavin got a serious traumatic brain injury. But just last week, he was sent home from the hospital where he's undergoing physical therapy. And League said before the wreck, Gavin was a very active teen, and now they're just trying to work on getting him back to his feet and just getting him back to some place of normalcy after the crash.
The family right now is just focused, laser focused on these boys and what do they need? How can the family help these young men overcome their physical and mental injuries from this wreck?
And the man police were chasing was Archie Hale, and he's being sued by Prater's family. And Hale, he remains in the Morgan County Jail for the murder of Tristan Hollis, who died during that crash, and he's also facing many other charges. And speaking of Priceville police, 48's Nick Ballinger had an exclusive sit-down interview with the new police chief in Priceville, and that police chief talked about how he wants to change the perception of his department after that deadly crash and after the wrongful death lawsuit, and also after the firing and rehiring of an officer. And so Ballinger sat down with Chief Jason Wigginton for his very first interview as chief.
Jason Wigginton's tenure as Priceville's newest police chief has been short. So short, in fact, his desk in his new office still sits without a nameplate.
I shuffled some furniture and things.
It's been just over 2 weeks since the city council appointed him instead of sticking with now former chief and friend of Wigginton, Jerry Holmes.
It was shocking, to say the least.
The department has been in the spotlight ever since 17-year-old Tristan Hollis was killed in a crash when a suspect ran from police that started from the interstate and continued into Hartsville. Officer Gary Chapman was fired, then rehired, and Holmes changed the chase policy but was relieved of his duties shortly after, all in a span of 2 months.
Been assigned a task at hand, and I'm going to move forward with that.
The task? Change the perception around the department, specifically.
We are not just interstate crime enforcement. We're a police department for a community. I think there's been a misconception of what's been going on because our town is so safe that the spotlight of all the arrests or what have you have mainly came from the interstate.
Case in point, the dozens of arrests and drug seizures made during traffic stops on I-65 by Priceville police, even posting the hauls in front of an interstate sign.
You see the negativity, and it's not always like that. It's not.
Wigginton says patrolling one of the nation's busiest roadways has been successful. The badge even reads, Interstate Crime Enforcement.
They're not taking it to a home. So no, they may not be doing that, but they are in the city limits of Priceville, and we're not going to have that in our city limits.
But now is time for a change.
I want a balanced police department. We have to, let the citizens see us, and, it's not just about arresting criminals constantly. We have to be inside the community also. We're still going to enforce crime on the interstate. I'll say it like that. We're not just going to camp out on the interstate. We're not going to do that.
So just like the badge, it's out with the old and in with the new.
And this week there was another deadly shooting, and Huntsville Housing Authority leaders, they continue to work on keeping that community safe and just keeping the community safe overall. And so Tuesday night, 34-year-old Demetrius Page was shot and killed after officials said he tried to break into the shooter's home. This is at least the 5th shooting in this neighborhood this year, and this is the 4th one that was fatal. And so the Huntsville Housing Authority leaders have already placed curfews just to try to keep people safe, and now they also want to hold residents accountable if their guests cause problems. So 48's Callie Neese, she went out to the scene and she has more on this story.
Officials say the shooter from Tuesday night's shooting shot in self-defense, adding that he even tried to end the hostility before he shot and killed the other man. Police say a resident at this apartment complex shot 34-year-old Demetrius Rashad Page around 5:30 Tuesday night. Page was taken to the hospital where he later died. Tim Gann from the district attorney's office told me Page was arguing with a man that lived at the apartment.
He tried to defuse the situation, went inside, locked the door, and refused to come out. He did everything he could do to make this thing go away.
Gann said later Page broke into the home, and that's when the resident shot and killed Page.
And we looked at it and it said it's clearly self-defense. It's clearly a burglary in the first degree, and so no charges should be filed.
Gann said this neighborhood has historically been a high crime area, and over the past year we have seen 4 other shootings in this neighborhood. 3 of them were also deadly. After back-to-back shootings in May, the Huntsville Housing Authority started a safety initiative, enforcing curfews and increasing police presence. Antonio McGinnis from the Huntsville Housing Authority told me unfortunately they cannot be everywhere all the time. And most of the time when incidents like this happen, it's caused by people who do not live in the community. So residents need to be careful who they invite over.
What's going to happen is our residents are going to have to understand the importance of who they invite to their unit. And if a resident invites a person to their unit and that person causes harm in the community, they're going to be held responsible.
Gann adds that everyone is entitled to feel safe in their own home. Reporting in Huntsville, Callie Neese, 48 News, on your side.
And to another 48 exclusive and update. This week we heard from the father of a 13-year-old boy who was hit and killed while riding his bike in Huntsville in August. And so he says he's relieved a suspect is charged with his death. Sarah Olson was arrested Monday night after she was indicted for reckless murder, and she's accused of hitting and killing the Mountain Gap 8th grader Cal Fox as he was legally crossing the road on his bike. And it happened at the intersection of Bailey Cove Road and Green Mountain Road. And a makeshift memorial for Cal continues to grow in that area. Cal's father, Brian, says he's glad to see progress is being made in seeking justice for his son.
I've had to pray for patience and understanding about every day, because as a parent, you want this handled quickly. You want to see justice. It wasn't if someone was going to get hurt, it was who was going to get hurt. And unfortunately, that happened to be my son.
An investigation revealed Olson had impairing substances in her car at the time of the crash. At this time, we do not know what those substances are, since this case is still pending. We'll, of course, keep you updated here at WAFF as this case continues to unfold. Olson has since bonded out of jail. And a Decatur firefighter, Matt Williams, is navigating an overwhelming journey as his daughter Brooklyn continues to fight a rare and aggressive form of brain cancer. And so now his fellow firefighters and the community are stepping up to help the family during this difficult time. 48's Sarah Grace Kennedy shares more on Brooklyn's journey and what the community can do to support her.
2 Decatur fire and rescue workers came up with the idea to design and sell t-shirts that say Team Brooklyn to help Brooklyn's family with travel expenses for her medical treatments. And the Decatur fire and rescue chief even is allowing firefighters to wear these t-shirts while they're working. And Matt Williams tells me he is just blown away by the support of his team.
Of all things, that's emotional. It's like I have 2 families.
Matt Williams' daughter, Brooklyn, was diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer back in August of 2024. Brooklyn loves doing arts and crafts and was even a competitive swimmer before she was diagnosed with cancer. Williams tells me that Brooklyn has already surpassed her initial 11-month prognosis by 4 months. He tells me that he is just inspired by her strength.
I don't have that same strength, you know. She's just, hey, we're going to have to do this. You're going to have a port placed, or whatever. And she just, okay, let's go.
Williams tells me that he has been trying everything he can to make sure his daughter gets better.
When the doctor told us when the diagnosis initially was, you need a miracle. That was it, and all the late night studying and trying to outsmart doctors and, to try to figure out something, because that's all you want to do is help.
Williams tells me that his crew over at Decatur Fire and Rescue have made these trying times just a little bit easier for him and his family. Williams says that he is so grateful that the crew will be able to wear his daughter's name on their uniforms.
It made it kind of special because, 26 years, you know, your uniform is your uniform. When you're off work, you know, don't wear your clothes out. For this, you know, now it's kind of like, you know, hey, there's a small exception.
And coming up after the break, I'll give you all a sneak peek into news stories coming up in our evening newscast. We'll also take a look at some great events happening in the Huntsville and surrounding areas this weekend. All that and more when we come back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 48 Recap. Let's check out a story you can look out for coming up in our evening newscast. So, a shooting investigation is underway in Limestone County after a man shot another man at a Dollar General during an altercation. Authorities identified that shooter as 34-year-old Eric Breyers. And after further investigation, authorities determined that an argument involving both of those men and a woman escalated into the violence, which led to Breyers shooting his gun 5 times. And so the victim was transported to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and Breyers was arrested and charged with attempted murder. Tune into our evening newscast to hear more details on this story and many others. Also, due to sports coverage today, our evening newscast will be on our streaming platforms at 5 and 10 p.m. instead of on TV today. And so wherever you're tuned in, watching now is where you can find our newscast. We stream on the WAFF app, Facebook, and YouTube. So that's where our 5 o'clock news will be today, and also our 10 o'clock news due to sports coverage happening on our TV channel today. So make sure to tune in. And if you're looking for something fun to do this weekend and to get in the Thanksgiving spirit, you can check out the Gobble Gobble Hay Zine and Small Press Fest today. And so it started at 11 this morning, but no worries, it goes on until 7 tonight. And this event is for all book lovers, creators, people that have curious minds. It's just a very vibrant celebration of the written word and the art of storytelling. And so this is an opportunity for you to just dive into a dazzling market, just showcasing the best of Zines, comics, books, bookmaking arts, and letterpress printmaking. And so go out and meet these brilliant artists, authors, and publishers who just bring these creations to life. And so whether you go to discover new stories, snag unique finds, or just simply soak in the creative energy, this is your invitation to a day of just inspiration and community. So check it out if you can, and if you want to experience that literary magic, you can definitely do so today until 7 at Low Mill Arts and Entertainment Studio. And if you want to enjoy some hockey tonight, you can check out Huntsville Havoc versus Pensacola Ice Flyers at the VBC at 7 p.m. Tickets are available for purchase at the VBC box office, Huntsville Havoc office, and online at Ticketmaster.com. And also, a really cool thing they're doing tonight is the first 3,500 fans that are at least 13 years old and older get a jersey, a free jersey. So get there early to snag one of those. And I just got a free voucher to go to a game, so I'm very excited. I've been here for almost a year, and I still haven't gone to a Havoc game or a Trash Panda game, so I'm very excited to at least experience my first Havoc game sometime this season. So I heard they're so much fun, so definitely go out if you can, and you can't beat getting a free jersey. So and it's also that time of year for skating in the park. It's back, and children and adults can come out and ice skate at the Huntsville Museum of Art any day until January 4th. And so tickets can be purchased for that at the venue, and skates can also be rented. And there's also scooters and walkers available for those who need it while skating. I'm definitely one of those people. I can't like regular skate, I can't ice skate. I just am not the most balanced or coordinated, so I'm glad that they have that option there for everybody that may need it. So, and there's also an opportunity to check out the Trash Pandas Christmas Light Show. And so these shows are happening up until December 28th, right inside of Toyota Field. And this year, the lights are going to be, again, inside the ballpark, and they're decorating every part of the field, which is a one-of-a-kind walk-through Christmas experience. And so they're going to make it look amazing. So check it out if you can. It's going to be going on for quite some time throughout the rest of the year. And so you can visit trashpandaschristmas.com for more information and to get your tickets. You don't want to miss out on it, and it's something very cute and fun and a great experience for the whole family. And there are just so many fun events happening this weekend, including right now is UNA's farewell to Brawley Stadium. And so that's happening right now. So tune in to WAFF Sports Network at 48.3 or ESPN Plus to check that out. 48 Sports Director Carl Prather and Kaylee Tinklestad, they're going to be out there covering the special game. If you want to tune in and see that, you can. And then they also did a pregame special that we streamed. So if you want to go back and watch that, that's available on our YouTube and Facebook channels as well, and on our website. So definitely tune into that if you can, and just go out, enjoy yourself this weekend. And anytime you're looking for a fun event or something good to do throughout the week, you can always check out Huntsville.org's event tab and WeAreHuntsville.com's event calendar to see more events happening in the area. And that's all I have today for the 48 recap. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to tune into our 48's Weather Extra segments. Our meteorologists go live every Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. and every Saturday and Sunday at 8:15 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. There will not be a Weather Extra this afternoon due to us doing our newscast through our streaming platform, so we'll be preparing for that. But don't forget to tune into the newscast. It's going to be the 5 and 10 o'clock shows today, and that will be streamed on our WAFF app and Facebook and YouTube. And meteorologist Jeff Denoyers will be back in the morning with another edition of Weather Extra. And again, this is just another way to give you all extra insights on the latest weather forecast. So make sure to download our 48 apps and follow us on our Facebook and YouTube channel so you don't miss any updates on the news and weather. And if you would like to stay connected with me throughout the week, please be sure to follow my page at Tatyana White, WAFF48, and I would love to connect with you all, talk with you, so feel free to reach out. Take care, everyone, and stay safe, especially during the holiday weekend. I hope you all have a very happy and festive Thanksgiving. Just enjoy this time with the ones that you love the most, and it's just going to be great, and I hope you all just have so much fun and eat really good and watch good games, football games, and everything else that you and your family may do for your traditions. So have a happy Thanksgiving, and I will see you all back here next Saturday, and I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend.